Japan.
Welcome to Channel Japan. I'm Maki Arai.
And I'm Yasu Ota.
Every week we bring you the freshest information out of Japan right here from our studio in Tokyo. From the economy to culture and even food, if you want to know what's happening in Japan, this is where you'll find it. First up is Executive Insight, in which we speak with executives of Japan's top companies. So, Ota-san, who do we have today?
This time, we will be looking back at our interviews with the heads of leading Japanese companies over the past half year. They cover a range of industries such as transport, manufacturing, retail, finance, and education. I know that you did an interview as well.
That's right. I had a chance to speak with the top of Konica Minolta Holdings and Sumitomo Mitsui Banking Corporation and learned quite a lot about their business. So today we'll be bringing you past interviews as well as some new footage to learn more about the global strategies of Japanese leaders and how they see the future of business. Take a look.
Executive Insight. Japanese companies face an extremely difficult business environment. The changing times demand a higher degree of flexibility than ever before. Similar themes are being echoed across different industries by the top corporate leaders of Japan. One of those is countering change. East Japan Railway is the biggest railway operator in Japan, carrying 17 million passengers in and around Tokyo every day. Even this seemingly solid business is being affected by change, with railway revenues no longer the steady stream it once was. One market they've set their sights on is women. This is what company president Tetsuro Tomita told us.
Railways are a somewhat inward-looking business. We want to break out of that mentality. Half of our customers are women, so we need to understand what their demands are in terms of train services. I believe that if we can make train stations more attractive, we'll be able to expand our non-railway revenue.
That ambition is epitomized by the newly renovated Tokyo Station. Just below the platform is a massive shopping zone. Inside, there are 320 eateries and shops. There are restaurants serving fresh sushi, and various establishments selling boxed lunch sets and even deli-type food. Shopping zones like this can actually be found throughout Tokyo Station.
The attractiveness of inner-city railways isn't limited to trains. There are various services, shopping venues, hotels, and even business facilities. We offer a total package. We want to show people the high-quality services that can be found on and around Japanese railways.
Sumitomo Mitsui Banking Corporation, or SMBC, is one of Japan's big three banks. They have branches in 58 locations overseas and employ 23,000 people. How are they responding to the changing times? This is what company president Takeshi Kunibe had to say.
今こういう変化の激しい時というのは、我々自身が立ち止まっていることは多分後退を意味するんですね。したがって、我々は素早く意思決定をして、途中でもし環境の変化があったら、そこで戦略を修正していけばいいと。
In Singapore, there's a building boom in the city center. Another massive facility is scheduled to open next year, the Singapore Sports Hub. This complex is being constructed at a cost of $1.8 billion. The financing was arranged by SMBC. The bank has been strengthening its overseas business mainly in the funding of such major projects.
Our economic growth will dramatically boost the flow of business. And naturally, there will be a greater demand for services to facilitate various transactions. In order to capture the demand, we believe it essential to improve the competitiveness of our transaction banking business.
7-Eleven is the top convenience store chain with 15,000 outlets. They have been developing self-branded products and services such as food delivery to differentiate themselves from rivals. How are they tackling change? This is what company president Ryuichi Isaka told us.
We're continually developing new products, expanding the range of our offerings, and changing the store layout. That's how we have responded to changing customer demands and the reason for our strong business performance. It's important to always be sensitive to changes in the world around us. That is the basis of our strategy and everything we do. I believe that is the only way to survive competition and remain at the forefront of the industry.
With consumer demand continuing to remain sluggish in Japan, many companies are now turning their sights to the fast-growing Asian market. The second key theme is the challenge of new markets. Yamato Holdings is the top package delivery company in the country and has been aggressively expanding into new markets. What's their international strategy? This is what company president Kaoru Seto had to say.
Our aim is to win without competing. That way, we don't have to be dragged into a price war. To do that, we need to create entirely new markets where there's no competition. The other way is to offer delivery services on a completely different level that no one can copy. By the time rivals catch up, we'll already dominate the market.
Yamato Holdings has already launched package delivery services in 5 Asian locations, including Shanghai, Singapore, and Hong Kong. Their aim is to offer the same meticulous services as in Japan.
We want to export the system that helped us succeed in Japan to overseas markets. We're constantly experimenting in Japan. We'll customize and localize our services for customers in Asia, but the changes will be minor. People, whether in Japan or in Asia, want the same things. That's why I believe we can continue growing in the region.
Yamaha is among the top musical instrument makers in Japan. They are quickly expanding into emerging markets, setting up production facilities and opening music classes. A big focus is China. Company president Mitsuru Umemura tells us why.
Children's piano lessons are a big boom now in China. Parents see their neighbors' children learning piano, so they buy one for their own kid. It's also the same with houses. A growing consumer class is spreading across the country. So, we're optimistic about the growth of our business and the market.
Kubota is the top agricultural equipment maker. They are expanding into the agricultural markets of Asia, even as the region becomes increasingly industrialized. Company president Yasuo Matsumoto told us the reason.
Places such as China, Thailand, South Korea and Taiwan are undergoing widespread industrialization. That's pulling people away from farms into factories and depleting the agricultural workforce. A big problem is how to make farming more efficient with fewer hands. For an agricultural equipment maker like us, it's an exciting time.
NYK Group is Japan's biggest shipping firm. They too are starting to place greater importance on international business. Company president Yasumi Kudo told us the reason.
Our slogan is to connect Asian growth to the world. The world's factory is now concentrated in Asia, so Asia has increasingly become our top priority. We want to help our customers deliver products made in Asia and grow together with them.
Kumon operates a chain of privately run schools. they've transformed education into an efficient business and are expanding into overseas markets. The textbooks used abroad are the same as those in Japan. So what's behind their international success? Company President Akio Tsunoda tells us the reason.
If we were providing a knowledge transfer type of study method using textbooks, then I think we would only gain acceptance in a limited number of regions. In our classes abroad, one thing we insist on is that teachers are local residents, not Japanese. That's because education is rooted in local regions. Our teachers need to be committed to their respective regions and the children there, so they need to be local residents.
To sustain growth, constant research and development is essential. So what kind of future do Japanese companies envision? The third key theme is innovation for the future. Bridgestone is the #1 tire maker in the world, with sales in over 150 countries. Being on top hasn't stopped them from continually developing cutting-edge products. Company chairman Shoshi Arakawa explains.
We became #1 in the world. We don't have a teacher, so all we can do is to continue doing new things.
The company is now focusing on environment-related R&D. They own a farm to produce natural rubber with the aim of developing a tire made of natural materials. The company has also unveiled an ecologically friendly tire that doesn't use any fossil fuels such as petroleum.
We're starting to make both synthetic and natural rubber from plants.
Konica Minolta Holdings was originally a camera and photographic filmmaker. Applying those technologies, they have developed thin films used for television displays and made advances in the cutting-edge field of organic EL. Company President Masatoshi Matsuzaki talks about their vision.
What we want to develop is a thin, light, and flexible light source that also has a wide surface area. Making such a product requires bringing several innovations together. Companies that can do that are limited around the world. And I believe that we are one of those companies.
Mitsubishi Chemical Holdings manufactures a wide range of products from petroleum-based materials to LED lighting components, functional films, and medical-related chemicals. What's behind this diversification? Company President Yoshimitsu Kobayashi explains.
Japanese companies need to constantly pursue cutting-edge technology. Otherwise, they'll eventually die out. That's the fate we face.
The company has reduced the size of its plastics and vinyl business and is expanding into the growing healthcare field. This is a device to make carbonated water. They say soaking in carbonated water improves blood circulation. Environmental technologies are another focus. This thin film is a solar panel. Bendable, it is a revolutionary material. The company is also taking on entirely new fields, such as growing vegetables using LEDs.
Evolution and change are necessary in any age. Not changing means death. People need to change to survive. Society needs to change in order for it to continue. If you have a business that's not making money, you need to make a change.
As global competition intensifies, Japan's corporate leaders are tasked with change and transformation.
Arai-san, you've spoken with two top executives over the half a year and learned about various management styles and strategies. What was your impression?
Well, the interesting part is that they have different styles of management, but they have one thing in common, which is they both think that employees are one of the most important elements of their company. And the top manager of Konica Minolta Holdings used to be an engineer, so he has a lot of knowledge about his products, and he does talk to his engineers and communicate with them. And also the CEO of SMBC said that he goes down to the floor and sees what's happening on a day-to-day basis and talk to his employees. So it was interesting. And what about you? Were you able to get some hints on the future direction of Japanese companies?
One person who left a big impression on me was president of Mitsubishi Chemical Holdings, the Mr. Yoshimitsu Kobayashi. I'm not sure if you remember, but he mentioned the word kaeru.
Yes, and I remember he had a frog in his office.
Right. Exactly. In Japanese language, the word frog has the same pronunciation as the word for change. So kaeru is a change, as well as it's a frog. And during the interview, he emphasized the importance of change. He talked about how companies need to constantly take on new challenges rather than resting on their laurels.
So what specific changes do you think Japanese companies need to implement?
I believe the key word is sophistication. From the 1950s, many Japanese companies were able to grow by offering a low cost but good product.
High quality.
That's right. But from now on, they will have to offer value that goes one step beyond. For example, the Kumon, the school, the educational company, and the Yamato, the transportation company, which are in the service industry and not manufacturing, which is manufacturing industry has been traditionally a strength of Japanese companies. They've been able to offer unique services, not just in Japan, but overseas as well.
Well, we hope to bring you more interviews in the future that'll shed some light on the corporate landscape in Japan. After the break, a new method to tear down skyscrapers. Stay tuned.
Mitsubishi Electric is helping to change the environment for the better around the world.
Green subway systems in India.
Green air conditioning systems in Singapore.
Echo changes for a greener tomorrow. Mitsubishi Electric.
Since ancient times, these massive stones have been bathed in sunlight. Local rituals, dating back to prehistoric times, attest to man's respect for the sun's power. The sun continues to nourish us, always, everywhere.
Today, Panasonic is helping people reduce CO2 emissions with solar panels and other energy management technologies. Panasonic, ideas for life.
Hey, look at this. They're building a huge steel plant with Kobelco technology.
Kobelco? Never heard of it.
It's Japanese. They can make iron with incredible speed. What once took 8 hours can be done in just 10 minutes.
Wow, the Japanese are incredible. The country of karate.
Ha! 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 Karate has nothing to do with it.
True. The talk of the world. Kobelco.
Traditional.
Consistent.
Precise.
Speedy.
Professional. Innovative.
Polite. Quality from Japan. The best of business in Asia. SMBC. Sumitomo Mitsui Banking Corporation.
How do we build sustainability into our relationship with Mother Earth? That's Kaiteki, Mitsubishi Chemical Holdings.
Asia, the engine of the global economy. Japan, a regional powerhouse. And now, direct from Japan, economic news with a global impact in Chinese and English, delivered by Nikkei. Read the future, lead the economy. Nikkei, Japan's leading media for business.
The search is on to discover the next creative master of Asia. Japan's leading TV and radio network, TBS, brings to you the Digicon 6 Awards, giving visual artists in Asia an opportunity to create their dreams. Whether it's a short drama, animation, or music video, if it's yours, you may be the next winner of the Digicon 6 Grand Prize. For more details, check out digicon6.com. It's time to create your dreams.
You're watching Channel Japan. In our next segment, Project Japan, we have a report from the Nikkei online edition. So, Ota-san, what's the topic?
Well, I want to show you something first. This is the first skyscraper that was built in Japan. It's called the Kasumigaseki building.
It's famous, isn't it?
And it was opened in 1968, before you were born.
I was born in 1982, so it's a bit older than I am.
A bit older. It's been 45 years since the building went up, and there are now nearly 800 high-rises over 100 meters tall in Japan.
Ooh. Well, walking around Tokyo, I get the feeling that there's a new high-rise going up every month.
Exactly. But given the limited space in a lot of Japanese cities, when new buildings goes up, it also often means an old building has to be torn down. Today, we will show you a new technology to demolish buildings in densely packed cities like Tokyo in a safe and environmentally friendly way. Take a look.
The Project Japan. Japan's biggest city, Tokyo. Otemachi is considered the center of Japanese business, serving as the headquarters of major corporations. In recent years, there has been a noticeable rise in building construction.
そうです。工事現場は多いかなとは思いますね。スクラップ&ビルドっていうのは流行ってんですかね。ビルの老朽化だとか。
Construction in areas densely concentrated with buildings and pedestrians. A brand new technology is now being deployed. Soaring 108 meters above ground is the 24-story Risona Maruha building. Completed in 1978, the structure is slated to be rebuilt as part of a redevelopment project. The demolition work was being carried out quietly after midnight. They are using a technique called the Kojima Cut and Take Down method, developed by major construction firm Kojima Corporation. Metal cylinders can be seen moving inside the construction site. They are hydraulic jacks used to lift and lower heavy objects. Seen from a distance, the entire building seems to be shrinking. What's happening?
建物全体をですね、ジャッキで支えまして、建物の外観をそのままに、建物の一番下からですね、順番に解体していくという工法でございます。
In Europe and the US, buildings are typically demolished with explosives. But in Japan, where explosives are strictly regulated, they are rarely used. Until now, cranes and excavators were installed on roofs of structures to gradually tear them down from the top. But with this new method, the first floor section is severed and removed, followed by other floors. It is a bottom-up demolition process. So how is it actually carried out? First, the space between the ground floor and the second floor is dismantled and cleared away. Next, the columns are cut and removed. Hydraulic jacks are fixed to the bottom of the remaining column sections. Once all the columns are cut, the jacks are used to lower the entire structure. This process is repeated 5 times to eliminate one floor. Then they move on to the next floor. They say the biggest advantage of this method is that they can minimize dust dispersion and noise.
すべての解体工事を1回回りで行っておりますので、その周りさえですね、覆ってしまえば、粉塵の飛散等もなく、また、騒音に関しましても1回回りに防音パネルを設置することによりまして、外部へのですね、騒音をシャットアウトしている。
But isn't it dangerous to sever the columns that hold up a building? The foreman, Mr. Yoshioka, explains the mechanism to us.
最初ですね、ジャッキで柱をこういうふうに支えておりますが、このぐらいのところで柱を切断します。そうすると、こういう状態になります。こういう状態の時にですね、柱が宙ぶらりんになって危ないんじゃないかというふうにお考えになるかと思いますけども、その時はですね、前後左右の4本の柱で、この柱にかかってた荷重を支える。
This building has a total of 40 columns. Rather than cutting all of them at once, they work on 8 and repeat the process 5 times. For example, when the upper left column is cut, the weight is supported by the remaining columns. When they finish with all 40, the jacks are lowered. But what if there's a major earthquake? Won't the structure topple over?
建物に地震等のですね、水平力が入った場合には、コアウォールという鉄筋コンクリートの壁を事前に設置しまして、そのコアウォールにですね、水平力を伝達することによって地震に対応すると。
A core wall is a tough column-like structure firmly fixed to the foundation. Between the building's columns and the core wall, another structure called a load transferring frame is installed. Without it, the building will sway. The load transferring frame works to support the core wall it's in contact with and minimize the effects of an earthquake. Another advantage of this method is the reduction in the time it takes for demolition. A building of this size would usually require 9 months, including preparations. Under the new method, it takes just 6.5 months, helping to reduce labor and other costs.
興味を持っておられるお客様も多数いらっしゃいまして、具体的にですね、適用できないかという検討の依頼が複数来てございます。
Elsewhere in Tokyo, a different method is being used to demolish a high-rise building. This is the Grand Prince Hotel Akasaka. Opened in 1983, the 139-meter-high 40-story annex was once the premier hotel in Tokyo. But under intense competition in the industry, they decided to rebuild it into a multi-purpose facility with offices, a hotel, and residential units. Demolition began in November 2012. But from the outside, there doesn't seem to be any work going on.
わかんないです。どこなんですか？でもこれ壊すんですよね。どんな感じでやってるんでしょう。
From far away, it's possible to see the building slowly shrinking. Here, they're using a new method called the Taisei Ecological Reproduction System, developed by Taisei Corporation.
テコレップシステムとはこのようにですね、建物の最上部にキャッピング構造を作ってその中で全ての解体工事をしてしまうという、超高層の解体工法です。
Under this method, a small work area is set up on the upper section enclosed in soundproof panels. It is called a capping structure. This is the inside. Within this area, the columns and floors are removed. When that's done, jacks are used to lower the roof. They slash a 2-floor area, or a height of 6.4 meters, in about 3 hours. Typically, scraps such as severed columns are lowered from the outside by cranes, but here it's done inside the building, a process not visible from the outside. They refer to this as a closed-type demolition method.
工事中の騒音を外に、極めて低い、状態にさせている。そして粉塵の飛散も極力低減させているということが大きく達せられます。それ以外にですね、この閉鎖をするということで、このように解体工事をしているように見せないことで、近隣の方々にですね、不安感や圧迫感を与えないというメリットがございます。
This is the second time for Taisei to employ the method. They are reusing the scaffolding from the first project. The foreman, Mr. Ichihara, says environmentally friendly demolition methods will become increasingly important in the future.
この解体工事をしながら発電をさせる機能であったり、はたまたその解体した部材をですね、そのまま転用してリユースするといった具合にですね、できるような工法としてですね、このテコレップシステムは構築、しています。
They say this method offers advantages in terms of cost and demolition time for buildings that are over 100 meters high.
当然その日本だけの建物に適用するという考えではなくて、世界の建物においてでもですね、ぜひこの工法を適用していくような案件があれば積極的に展開していきたいと考えています。
Buildings no longer needed are fading away. In their place rise up new structures. This unending cycle may symbolize the rhythm of the Japanese economy.
So Ota-san, the hotel in the video is one that I pass by from time to time. And now that I think about it, it is getting shorter. And at the same time, there seems to be a lot of new buildings going up around Tokyo Station.
That's right. If you look at this is a map of the area around Tokyo Station, which is often referred as the city's rail gateway.
Yes.
There are many prime office buildings in this entire area, and currently about 20 new projects have been completed or underway.
Oh, but I'm curious as to why there's so much rebuilding going on.
Well, naturally, the biggest reason is the age of many buildings. They are getting old, but many structures are being torn down and rebuilt so that they are more earthquake resistant.
That's very important.
Or have a better IT facility and security.
Well, I have to say that some of these new buildings are really attractive design-wise, and they have convenient facilities. So they offer a great environment for people to work in.
I agree. I have some data here. This is a graph that shows the official office building vacancies. As you can see, the vacancy rate of bigger buildings is much lower. meaning that's more demand for big buildings.
That's an interesting data, but why is that?
The biggest reason is something I mentioned earlier, but the new buildings have better infrastructure and commercial facilities, including nice restaurants or well-known shops. Those aspects are a big draw for companies as well as employees.
I see. Well, I know that there's a big building boom across Asia, so maybe this new Japanese demolition technology will be useful in cities that face a similar lack of space like Tokyo. After the break, we take a look at a favorite of mine, strawberries.
Perhaps it's true. Perhaps we've been in too much of a hurry. Day by day, technology advances. But sometimes we need to pause and listen to what nature is saying. Surely, steadily, and lovingly. These, we believe, are the essentials of manufacturing. Our technologies, your tomorrow. Mitsubishi Heavy Industries.
The Norin Chukin Bank has a mission to fulfill. We are committed to the advancement of agriculture, fisheries, and forestry in Japan. Backing the network of our people and communities to help and support one another is a source of pride for us. This is our style of banking. We're banking on trusted networks. The Norin Chukin Bank.
Changing emissions from copper refineries into fertilizer. That is where Sumitomo Chemical got its start. For 100 years, we've been delivering the power of chemistry around the world. And we will continue to help make the world a better place for the next 100 years and more.
Suzuki Way of Life.
We've just added a new power shovel, and it's great.
Really? Who makes it?
Kobelco.
Kobelco? Never heard of it.
It's Japanese. And let me tell you, its fuel efficiency is incredible.
Oh.
Kobelco's power shovel delivers more while consuming less. Just like my sweetie.
Don't say that.
And powerful too.
The talk of the world, Kobelco.
Asia, the engine of the global economy. The pulse of the region at your fingertips with unique insights from Nikkei. With Nikkei Asian Review, stay up to date on the latest economic trends anywhere in the world. Read the future, lead the economy. Nikkei, Japan's leading media for business.
The search is on to discover the next creative master of Asia. Japan's leading TV and radio network, TBS, brings to you the Digicon 6 Awards. Giving visual artists in Asia an opportunity to create their dreams. Whether it's a short drama, animation, or music video, if it's yours, you may be the next winner of the Digicon 6 Grand Prize. For more details, check out digicon6.com. It's time to create your dreams.
You're watching Channel Japan. Next, we introduce you to popular economics programs. Today, it's an episode from TV Tokyo's World Business Satellite.
Kisen-Numa, Miyagi Prefecture. 2 years ago, a massive tsunami washed away numerous boats at this port. On this day, a brand new tuna fishing vessel is being unveiled. It is a symbol of the region's recovery. Among the local residents celebrating is one man. He's invited onto the boat.
ここの中ですごい気持ちいいよ絶対。勘でやるよと言ってね。ここでもうどんどんこれから積んでいって。
He's actually from a bank.
道中さんにはもう漁船漁業、特にねマグロ漁業に関しましてはですね、非常にお世話をねいただいてましてですね。これから非常にいい船出ができるというかですね。
Loans are indispensable for farmers and fishermen across Japan. For example, this bank provided over $300,000 for the construction of the boat.
安定した経営ができるようにという、そういう経営指導で言うとおこがましくて、経営相談に乗りながらうまくやっていきたいと。
This facility was also recently completed in Kesenuma. It manufactures massive amounts of ice used to keep seafood fresh. Destroyed in the tsunami, the plant was rebuilt with over $20 million in aid extended by Norin Chukin Bank.
農協さんからお金借りたりするからできるんですけども、やっぱり民間の営業としてはなかなかここまでの工場はやりにくい。
This bank is one of several financial institutions that provide loans to the farming and fishing industries. But until recently, they mainly focused on asset management.
できるだけ農林中金は収益を上げるために、国際分散投資といいまして海外も含めて、かなりの投資をしてまいりました。で、それが結果的にリーマンショックを受けまして、農林中金も大きな被害を受けたわけですけれども、そちらに偏ったその体重をですね少し減点会議ということでそれを衣替えしまして、農林金融の方にシフトする体制に、組み立て直しました。
However, the transition hasn't been smooth. This agricultural cooperative, which makes vegetable seedlings, has received over $300,000 in loans. But the loan officer has no experience in financing for the farming industry.
私は普通の一般の事業法人向けの融資を担当しておりまして、農業というのは初めてでした。生産管理というのは
そう生産管理
履歴もしっかり
あります。はい。
He says every day is a learning process.
それはもう天と地が変わるぐらい多分農林中金の職員にとってはですねこう位置づけが変わったわけですから混乱もあったと思うんですけれども思い切ってですね路線変更したということでございます。
Still, the benefits of agricultural financing are said to be significant. This is the president of a company that got a loan.
農業でやっぱり資金調達っていうの結構大変なんですよ。担保が農地ですから価値が低いとかね、保証人さんっていうのも第三者にお願いするっていうのはなかなか難しい。潤沢にお金が回るっていうことでその経営が良くなっていくっていうのがこれはもう間違いなくあるんでね、おかげでベルガースも健全な経営っていうのができるようになってきた。
Greater access to credit may give Japanese farmers and fishermen a chance to rebuild and reinvent their businesses.
Well, our next topic is something that I know a lot of people are fond of. Here, strawberries. So, Ota-san, do you like strawberries too?
I think you could say most people in Japan love strawberries.
Right.
I actually have some data to back that up. Look at this. This is a survey of favorite fruits among Japanese people. And strawberries were number one, getting 75% of the vote.
So today we'll show how this sweet fruit is evolving in Japan. Take a look.
Shinjuku, Tokyo. In the food section of this department store are strawberries in season. Among the so-called brand strawberries are some rarely seen on regular supermarket shelves.
いちご王国栃木県が、頑張って作りました新品種、スカイベリーという名前でございます。
These big strawberries are said to be sweet with just the right amount of acidity. They were developed in Tochigi Prefecture. The area is the biggest strawberry producer in Japan in terms of production volume, area, and value. Sky berries were born in this facility. This is the Strawberry Research Center, which specializes in the development of new varieties and growing techniques. They say the launch of a new variety by the prefecture holds a special significance.
とちおとめを総合的に超えるような、そういう能力を持ったものができたということで、今回、新しくね品種を出したということです。
In 2011, the plant variety registration for Tochi Otome strawberries expired, leaving the prefecture without exclusive rights over their creation. As a result, a nationwide effort was launched to develop a new variety. And in 2012, Tochigi I-27, or Sky Berry, was born.
毎年10を超える品種が出てきますけれども、基本的にはほとんど残れないという、そのぐらい非常に厳しい世界ですね。
A big focus is summer and autumn strawberries, which have low production volumes. A strawberry that can be grown year-round. The prefecture's answer is this Natsu Otome. But one problem is that summer and autumn strawberries are vulnerable to heat, making them difficult to cultivate.
夏場の産地というのは、北海道とかね、涼しいところ、高冷地とか。
This is Chino, Nagano Prefecture, which sits at an altitude of 1,000 meters. Taking advantage of the terrain, one farm has started growing the new variety this year. Inside the greenhouse, preparations are underway. All that's left to do is begin planting the seedlings.
質量としては3トン強ということで、今のところ見積もっております。
On this day, a meeting is being held to discuss the branding of strawberries. They decide to name it after a mythical creature in local legends.
いちごのヘタがさ、このお皿みたいになるように。それはもうそれしか浮かばないもんね。浮かばない。ほんで初恋いちごとになりゃカッパちゃんがさ、赤く恥じらってるっていうような。そこがピンクっぽくなってるっていうような。
The brand image is said to be key. They have big hopes for harvest season.
皆さんいちご作られたことは
ありません。
This is actually a new venture for this agricultural cooperative set up by 19 flower farmers. They have never grown strawberries, but say it's worth taking on the challenge.
ほとんど今カシューイチゴって、輸入品に頼っているっていうのが実情ですので、川産業で冬のイチゴよりは価格的にもいいということなんでしょうけど。
They have already signed up a snack company. On this day, they will be checking the condition of the seedlings to be planted. They say it's actually the first time for them to see strawberry seedlings.
お嫁ももらうみたいな感じですよね。
These seedlings are called Shindai BS89. Developed by Shinshu University, they are for summer and autumn strawberries. The variety is said to have a high sugar content, balanced with just the right amount of acidity.
いい名前がつけて、それに見合うイチゴができる、いいなと思っておりますけど。
Farmers spellbound by strawberries are about to set out on a new venture. Attempting to revive local strawberry farming is Yamamoto, Miyagi Prefecture. The area once had 130 strawberry farms, but 123 of them were washed away by the tsunami in 2011. The movement is being spearheaded by one man. Takashi Iwasa survived the tsunami.
ある程度スピード感を持った形でやらないと、この地域の復興につながらないという思いがあったんで、6月20日に法人立ち上げて。
He set up the company just 3 months after the disaster and says they were able to harvest strawberries the following year. This year, they planted 125,000 seedlings and are now in peak harvest season.
非常に甘くて美味しいイチゴの出来栄えになってます。
Last year, Mr. Iwasa set up another company to sell products made from processed strawberries. One of those is cosmetics. They developed soaps and cleansing liquids containing polyphenols, which are extracted from strawberries unsuited for shipment.
本当に私もね、本当に不思議な縁で、今回つながったなという気持ちなんですよ。
What strange fate is he referring to? The co-developer of the cosmetics is actually a company that also survived a massive earthquake in Kobe in 1995.
被災して辛い思いしてますけども、やはりそれを早く一日でも早く元に戻すだけじゃなくて、さらに事業的にも発展して周りの人を元気づけるようなそういう気持ちを持たれてるっていうので、私も感動しましたね。
Picasso Cosmetic Laboratory has long been involved in polyphenol research. They teamed up with Yamamoto Strawberry Farm in joint product development. Mr. Yagi experienced firsthand the difficulty of recovering from an earthquake. So he quickly agreed to help out in coming up with new cosmetics.
あったものがなくなっちゃってるんだから、その中でまた設備投資をして、あれだけの建屋を建てて、で1本ずつ苗を触ってイチゴを植えてる人たちが作ったイチゴ、宮城発のね、山本農園発の商品を通して、そういう部分の気持ちが伝えられたらなと。
Bringing together the two disaster-hit areas of Miyagi Prefecture and Kobe is Ms. Dan, who works in a company set up by the Strawberry Farm. Her job is developing cosmetics using the strawberries and supporting the reconstruction of disaster-hit areas. The cooperation formed between the two companies has been a dream come true.
会社を建てて、でそこで売り上げを上げて、で雇用を生み出して、で地域を活性化するっていうところが一番の目標であり、それが復興につながるというふうに考えています。
Her sales target for this year is $1 million. Strawberries from Miyagi Prefecture are also starting to gain momentum.
これから一生懸命販売していくという部分で、
宮城県で10人に1人は使ってもらおうと思って。
それくらい頑張らないとダメだね。やっぱり被災地の復興のために、我々がほらね、せっかく作った会社なんで、宮城県から広めていって、全国にね発信させていくっていう気持ちを持っていかないとね。
頑張ります。
Strawberries, a produce with the potential of becoming a year-round business. They continue to evolve through the efforts of local farmers.
Well, there are other varieties developed in Japan, so let me show you some of them. We have 3 kinds here at our studio. So the first one is, it's in a wooden box.
In the wooden box.
And it even has cottons. You have to be very careful. Haha. Here.
Look at that. It's beautiful.
Well, this one is called Bijin Hime, or Beautiful Princess, and these are sold in wooden boxes, and each one costs over $100. And there are even ones that cost over $500 each, compared to the regular type.
It's obvious. It's 2 times or 3 times bigger than the regular one.
And this whole pack is about $5 for one pack. So each one costs about 50 cents. So you can see the difference. And the next one
I'm going to open it. So the color is a bit different from the regular one.
White. And these are called Hatsukoi no Kaori, or the scent of first love. And they're produced at the foot of Mount Fuji in Shizuoka and Yamanashi prefectures. And since they're white, you think that they taste sour, but they're actually really flavorful and sweet.
It's very beautiful.
Interesting, isn't it? And the next one is called Momo Ichigo, or peach strawberries. And they're only grown at 28 farms in Japan and can only be bought in a certain area of Osaka. And each strawberry costs over $10.
Its color is very vivid.
Yes. And I imagine there could be more demand from abroad.
I agree, especially with the development of shipping and logistics for fresh food and produce. Farmers can pick their strawberries and send them across the ocean the same day. The fresh strawberries would definitely have a market outside of Japan.
Well, I hope our viewers have a chance to try out Japanese strawberries in the future. And that's all for this edition of Channel Japan. We have much more in store for you next week, so make sure you tune in.
My parents work at a really great company, which makes cool computers and LCD TVs. Not only that, they build elevators for skyscrapers and zooming fast bullet trains. My mom designs the company's CT scan systems, which spot diseases. My dad develops power generation systems so people will have plenty of electricity. The company where my parents work is Toshiba.
Has anybody finished doing their pictures? I have.
All around the world, Toshiba technology is hard at work, bringing smarter, faster, more sustainable development to life.
When I grow up, I want to work for people.
For a growing future, Toshiba.
Traditional.
Consistent.
Precise.
Speedy.
Professional. Innovative.
Polite. Quality from Japan. The best of business in Asia. SMBC. Sumitomo Mitsui Banking Corporation.
Just a map and a heart full of courage. Our founders started out with little, but they dared to dream big. Today, our reach is global and our resources extensive, but we still have our eyes on the horizon. With courage, reaching out to the world. Mitsui & Company.
How do we build sustainability into our relationship with Mother Earth? That's Kaiteki, Mitsubishi Chemical Holdings.
Channel Japan. Direct from Tokyo to the world. Get the latest stories from Japan as they happen on the ground. business, fashion, culture, and food. Everything you need to know about the hottest trends across the country. Channel Japan.